Patrick Bet-David calls out establishment warmongering lunatic Kevin McCarthy. Hey guys, you're watching Bring the Asteroid. Thank you so much for watching our video today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we'll get into the online tea.
I'm curious. What prompted you to go this way?
Two things. You asked me, what can we do in this situation and not have a war and what to break out?
Right.
In that, you can't have something that transpires in the Middle East that doesn't affect the rest of the world. So I was trying to give you a snapshot of where we actually sit in the world today. Henry Kissinger, before he passed away, he wrote this article with Graham Allison. Graham wrote Destined for War. He served under Ronald Reagan and also with Clinton. He was great in the Cold War. But they started this article with three numbers, 79, 79, and 9. You know what those numbers mean? It's been 79 years since we had a great war. That's actually a really long time, okay? Between World War I and World War II, think about that. It's been 79 years since any country has used an atomic or nuclear weapon. There are 9 countries with that capability. So this all circles back around. If we were sitting here in the 1960s and we were going through the missile crisis of Cuba, we would have projected that there'd be 40 countries with a nuclear weapon.
When did we project that?
No, we would have thought, I'm just telling you what we probably would have thought with them, but we would have thought it would have grown that way.
Right.
So we've done a pretty good job of holding it
to
together.
9. Right.
If Iran is allowed to get a nuclear weapon, it will move to 40. Saudi Arabia the next day will have one. Everybody will feel they have to protect. And how do you control a world in that situation?
Is that the biggest fear? Is the fear that they will be the number one tipping point to everybody else having it, that the 9 will become 40?
Well, the fear would be if more people have it and you have a change in leadership and you have, if you have more that have it and you have these unstable people as leaders, they'll use it. And today you could have small nuclear weapons, right? And you watch where China's building up. And if you're living in a neighborhood that your neighbor has it, you're going to feel you have to protect yourself. That's a much harder place for diplomacy to work.
So let me ask you, to go back to Iran and Israel, right?
Yes.
I've interviewed directors of different CIA, different Mossad. I've had Mossad, the former director of Mossad from the 80s on. I had the former director of CIA that was under Clinton. And I've had a few guys. I'm curious to know what's going on with who has the best intelligence. Isn't it known that worldwide, probably the best intelligence is Mossad, or would you put us ahead of Mossad?
It's kind of like technology. You live off what was in the back, but somebody else pushes it forward. So let's take 2 instances. When Ukraine was going to be invaded, America released their information where everybody thought Russia would not invade them. But we were right. That was a good job on intel. But we miss other things. Mossad is very sophisticated, has a great reputation. But how did October 7th happen? This is my interpretation why. And look, I was a Gang of 8, but I can't tell you anything inside. I'm just going to tell you what I read from the outside. Because what they used in October 7th, we start relying more on technology. Because we think technology is further advanced, and it is, right? We're going to listen to your phones. We're going to see where you are. They went back to old school. Homer pigeons, right? They just passing notes. That's hard. That's human intel that you have to need. So you missed an opportunity there where you start relying and believing, oh, I got the best operating system. Yeah, but I'm using floppy disks, so you can't find it. So, but that was a major miss. But for Mossad to come back and be in the pagers, that takes years in advance to get there. That's sophistication. And they do have one of the best reputations and have some of the best knowledge. But the Five Eyes share with one another. And sometimes some people pick something up better than somebody else. But it did teach us technology is not the only answer. You still need human ability.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason why I'm asking a question is because when you said they made a mistake on the 7th, but they didn't make the mistake this time, right? Mm-hmm. So on the 7th, the question becomes, how do you miss that? How do you miss something like that? That's not that complicated to miss. That's an easy one to catch to be able to bring you to where it's at now, right? I mean, this one now, it's almost like I mean, if you play the clip, can you play the clip by Netanyahu? Because for me, you got to realize I go back to the interviews by the Shah, and I'm talking Wallace back in the days when he would interview him, and he says, "We have no issues with Israel. We have no issues with U.S. We have no issues with this." He got along with everybody in the Middle East for the most part, was peaceful until Khomeini came in, Hezbollah came in, and then Middle East has been in shambles since '79. But he's here pleading with the Iranian people. Rob, if you want to play this clip, go for it.
I speak a lot about the leaders of Iran. Yet at this pivotal moment, I want to address you, the people of Iran. I want to do so directly, without filters, without middlemen. Every day, you see a regime that subjugates you make fiery speeches about defending Lebanon, defending Gaza. Yet every day, that regime plunges our region deeper into darkness and deeper into war. Every day, their puppets are eliminated. Ask Mohammed Def. Ask Nasrallah. There is nowhere in the Middle East Israel cannot reach. There's nowhere we will not go to protect our people and protect our country. With every passing moment, the regime is bringing you, the noble Persian people, closer to the abyss. The vast majority of Iranians know their regime doesn't care a whit about them. If it did care, if it cared about you, it would stop wasting billions of dollars on futile wars across the Middle East. It would start improving your lives. Imagine if all the vast money the regime wasted on nuclear weapons and foreign wars were invested in your children's education and improving your health care, in building your nation's infrastructure, water, sewage, all the other things that you need. Imagine that. But you know one simple thing. Iran's tyrants don't care about your future, but you do. When Iran is finally free, and that moment will come a lot sooner than
That's
people
the
think,
statement right there. That's powerful.
everything will be different. Our two ancient peoples, the Jewish people and the Persian people, will finally be at peace. Our two countries, Israel and Iran, will be at peace.
You can pause that right there. So you know what it makes
You
me
need
think?
more of this.
No, I agree. I mean, but you know what I think about? Here's what I think about. Two things can be right at the same time. Let me speculate. I'm not in this world. This is your world. I'm a guy that just runs a business and has conversations with people that are involved in business, politics, sports, different things. I enjoy these types of conversations. But for me, he gives me the vibes of a true believer. He gives me the vibes that he thinks and firmly believes the existence of Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, any one of these guys, the existence of them makes the Middle East unsafe. I believe he firmly believes that. I don't think there's an ounce of doubt there. I think he's a true believer. He's not gray. I think in that area, he's a firm believer. So then to me it's coming down to a point that his time is coming up to an end. He's only got a few more years left, so it's not like he's going to go for many years. And he's been going for a long time since journalist. He's been impressive for a long time.
He's the longest serving.
No question about it. But he's not doing this just because he wants fame. I believe he wants to take out the enemy because of promises he's made to his mentors 30, 20 years ago that I'm going to deliver on my promise. Could be his father, could be other people. That's the vibe he gives me. So you have that good of a intelligence, and then that event happens. That's kind of like that's like a open layup. It's not like somebody made a tough shot on you. It's an open layup. They could have got that. This is the USA Gear Limited.
I mean, guys, there's so much to talk about here, and PBD had to cut to an ad. But to hear Kevin McCarthy kind of gloat over the fact that we haven't had a war in 70-something years, it's like, okay, good. War should not be the norm. We should not be sending our innocent men and women to die overseas, and we should not be killing innocent men and women and children overseas. Is that too much to ask for, Kevin McCarthy, right now?